There could be no greater contrast to the beautiful image of a mother holding her infant child than the chilling displays our nation saw in recent days. Lawmakers in New York cheered with delight upon the passage of legislation that would allow a baby to be ripped from the mother's womb moments from birth.
Congratulations to Bill
These are living, feeling, beautiful babies who will never get the chance to share their love and their dreams with the world. And then we had the case of the governor of Virginia, where he stated he would execute a baby after birth.
Here's what Virginia's governor did say.
The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother.
To defend the dignity of every person, I am asking Congress to pass legislation to prohibit the late-term abortion of children who can feel pain in the mother's womb. Let us work together to build a culture that cherishes innocent life. And let us reaffirm a fundamental truth. All children, born and unborn, are made in the holy image of God.
New York celebrated last month as the Governor Andrew Cuomo signed into law the so-called Reproductive Health Act. The World Trade Center was lit pink as a beacon to the rest of the world. The same place where we mourn the death of 3,000 would now be used to celebrate what is likely to be the death warrant for 100,000 in this year alone. These incredible pictures were taken by a Swedish photographer named Leonard Nilsson. Sadly, in the state of New York, any one of these babies could have had its life terminated without giving any reason at all, up to 24 weeks. Even after this time, an abortion is allowed if the doctor feels that the woman's health is at risk. Health in this context can mean physical or mental health. There's no criteria for what constitutes a health risk other than at the discretion of the doctor. For all intents and purposes, the law can read, "An abortion is permitted at any time, provided you can find a doctor who's willing to perform it."
But critics say the Reproductive Health Act goes beyond codifying to expanding. Cardinal Dolan spoke about it on his radio show.
Any limit on the unfettered, unquestioned, absolute right to abortion, they want none of it.
Provisions in the bill include dropping most restrictions on abortions after 24 weeks, allowing midwives and nurse practitioners to perform abortions, and ending criminal charges for harming children in the womb. Livia Abreu of the Bronx lost her baby in a 2018 domestic violence attack. Charges against her ex-boyfriend Oscar Alvarez include abortion in the first degree.
The passing of RHA will exonerate him from those charges. I cannot imagine living in a world where harming and or killing an unborn child is not a crime.
All this is done in the name of women's health. But 64% of women report that they feel they were coerced into getting an abortion. So who do the new abortion laws help? In the majority of cases, it's not the woman getting the abortion.
You know, we live in this world that talks about abortion being a choice and a right. And what I always have to point out to people is that statistics still today identify that over 64% of women report being coerced into having an abortion. 64%. So it's not their choice. Someone else makes that choice for them or puts them in the position that it's the only choice available to them. And I always have to say, where's the empowerment in that? If 64% of women are put in the position that it's not their choice. And 36 years ago, it wasn't my biological mother's choice to have that saline infusion abortion that was meant to end my life.
Almost all of the arguments made to defend abortion are silly and ridiculous. The notion that a fetus inside the womb is part of a woman's body, but outside is a baby, is completely insane.
It's true, being a person requires more than you just being a bag of flesh, right? You have to be alive, right? You have to be living. But there is no distinction whatsoever between the flesh of a baby 1 minute before it enters the vaginal canal and 1 minute after it exits the vaginal canal. The vaginal canal does not magically confer personhood. It's just sheer nonsense.
A man is hiking along the edge of a cliff. He spots two people who have fallen over the edge and are hanging on for their life. He immediately runs to go help the first one, but as he's pulling him up, the second one falls. On another day, another man is walking. He sees a man standing on the edge looking out as the sun begins to rise. He walks up behind him and pushes him off the edge. Can you see the difference in these two scenarios? Then why is an abortion that's used to save a mother's life used as justification for all abortions? Granted, if somebody doesn't love their kid, they're a messed up person. But that doesn't give them the right to kill their kid. And if a kid who's not loved is destined to have a bad life, then how does this logic not apply to a kid outside of the womb? Why can't parents take in their 5-year-old and say, we're incapable of loving this kid, can we just get rid of him? Here in America, we don't punish people based on crimes they haven't committed yet, especially if all we're going on is that they're statistically more likely to commit them. Maybe the homeless are more likely to commit crimes. Should we just kill them too? Again, how does this logic not apply to people outside of the womb? Although there's been many testimonies of women loving their children, even though they were conceived in rape, I'm definitely not going to assume this for all cases. And yet the fact remains that we can't take one human's life for the crimes of another. Also, I feel that some of these arguments are disingenuous. When I'm arguing with somebody about abortion, and they bring up cases of rape, I ask them, if there's an exemption for rape, would you be okay with banning the other 99% of abortion cases? They invariably say no. I can only be in my own situation. To say I can't make a moral judgment on somebody else because I'm not in their situation, it's just silly. I can make a moral judgment on somebody's action, whether it's stealing, whether it's murdering. And if I can't just because I'm not in their situation, like who's to say I can't make a moral judgment on what Hitler or Stalin did, to use the common cliche. Anyway, there's so much more to say on this subject and so many more things that I'd want to add to this video, but I kind of made myself a goal that I would finish this tonight, and I'm tired and the sun's up. So I hope you guys got something out of this video and made you think a little bit, and hopefully made you very strong pro-life advocates. Anyway, God bless and have a good day or night, depending on your schedule. Thanks.